Hey, looks like we are live. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Jennifer Axelrod, and I'm a franchise business coach here at A Place at Home. And I'm your host for today. So, if this is your first time, welcome. This is a franchise podcast that basically specializes in giving information about home care for home care owners, people in the home care space to gain insights, share best practices, and just grow together. So thank you. Now, before we get started and I introduce our special guest, I'm going to do something different because today is it's leading up to International Women's Day, which is Saturday. And also, I wanted to just honor all the amazing women in home care, in our business, in my family, everything. I mean, women are just amazing, aren't we? So this year's theme, obviously, I'm wearing purple, not just because it's our brand colors, but because it is also the color of National Women's Day. So the theme is accelerate action, which is really so fitting because women have evolved so much in senior care. And I'm going to touch on that a little bit later, but action in business is important. And for us, it can sometimes be urgent. Yeah, absolutely. Families are making life-changing decisions every day. Caregivers are set up to provide essential services and support. And as business owners, we take bold steps towards better care, stronger teams, and thriving communities. To all women out there, I just want to wish you a happy International Women's Day. And if you can join an event in your community, definitely do so. There's so many online happening and also in person. So take advantage of that. Let's all bond together because women are a powerful tribe. Another important thing to note is March is National Social Work Month, if you didn't know. So that's really important to us too in home care, and it's a time to celebrate the impact of social workers who advocate for individuals, families, and communities. In home care, their dedication ensures our clients receive support and guidance and resources so that they can thrive. To all our social workers out there, thank you. Okay, so joining us today is Sam Van Valzah. I hope I said that right. And he is a co-founder of A Place at Home Encinitas in hot San Diego, California. Sam is on his own journey of accelerating action, building a business with his wife, Jocelyn, who unfortunately can't be with us today, but also while balancing a young family. They have a really young son, career transitions, and a shared commitment to delivering high quality premium home care. In this episode, we're going to explore how it takes to push forward, take action, and create impact. And that's what A Place at Home is all about, creating impact. If you've joined us before, this is another franchisee spotlight. We love spotlighting our franchisees. They are the bread and butter of our business, as well as the caregivers that they hire. We are excited to share Sam and Jocelyn's story. Their agency may be on the newer side, but they are already making the right moves towards growth. Okay, so with that being said, welcome, Sam.
Thank you, Jennifer. Appreciate it.
All right. So thanks for taking the time to speak with us today. It's always great to spotlight a franchisee, whether they're new in the business or seasoned. So how has today been going for you?
Great. I'm blessed. It's another day doing what I love. So there's certainly challenges, but we're excited to take on those challenges and grow.
All right. So as your coach, I have to say, any new updates you could share with the group here?
Yeah, sure. I think Jen, you and I were talking about this before the show, but we were talking about new leads, new people we could work with, and I have a fun story to share. So I had an office day yesterday where I was really just focusing on um, on the business, just mapping things out, organizing things, and I locked myself out of my office.
Oh no.
Yeah. So I was walking around the office talking to people, where can I find the maintenance? I don't have the maintenance person's number. I eventually find it. I call the maintenance person. She lets me back in. We're chatting, and just how your day's going. Um, Turns out she's caring for her father at home, loose
Okay.
bodies, needs
Yeah.
help. So I said, well, I'm glad you let me in. Come on in and let's chat.
That's
um,
great.
and we're looking
Wow.
to start her on services in April. And
Mm,
and it's really it's really exciting because just seeing someone, I could tell that she was looking for help. Just it's a lot, right?
yeah.
Home caregivers
Awful.
need respite.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of folks we work with when we're in with those families, it often just becomes so difficult, and then we come in and really lift this burden, and come in and do things the right way, and then we really see families start to thrive. So it's exciting.
That's such a great story, and that's like marketing, just, opportunity. You just never know where you're going to find that opportunity, and if you can take it, then you never know when it's going to turn into business. So that's a
Yep.
fabulous story. I'm so glad you shared that. So it was what, a week ago that I was in San Diego. It's been a
Yeah.
very busy travel month for me, I have to say. But I loved San Diego. The weather, it was a little chilly for my liking. I wanted to be at the beach, but that's okay. It's still San Diego. It's still beautiful. We did get some nice weather. And yeah, I mean, it's a beautiful place. The food, definitely, we had some great meals. Not going to say where we ate,
Yeah,
but
we're gonna work on
definitely we
expanding
ate
your
well.
palate. We're gonna work
We
on
ate
expanding your
well.
palate, Jennifer. Next time you're here.
We didn't try completely strange things, but anyways, um, you know what? You got the benefit of having our CEO and co-founder Dustin with us. That doesn't happen on all site visits, which we're going to go into the site visit, but it was definitely a bonus for you guys to have him and all his jokes, his dad jokes. But what I really enjoyed was just the time we had with you guys. You really did open up a lot about things, and we just sat there like maybe we knew each other for years, and that was so nice. And that's one of my favorite things in franchising. It's a community. And what I'm finding is home care is a community too. And
Yep.
everybody helps everybody. And it doesn't matter if you're a competitor, because you can still help people and be
Yep.
supportive and collaborate. And we'll talk more on that. Okay, so what was your favorite moment in the site visit? I know I have two.
Yeah, I really enjoyed showing you and Dustin around San Diego and finding you know uh, spots that are just kind of classic sightseeing spots like La Jolla, right? So that's always exciting. We're very passionate about the city we live in, so it's always a joy to share that with other people. Um, and then our networking event, as well as our tea party event at the memory care. So
Yeah.
both were excellent. The tea party was especially interesting for a number of reasons. First off, a lot of memory care, unfortunately, they don't get a lot of events or people coming through to provide events for them because it is a challenge. But we're happy to take on that challenge, and we really enjoyed spending time with those folks over at Silverado. And that facility, they just do a great job. They have a great team over there, and their residents were a joy.
I completely agree. I mean, one of the things that just warms my heart is to spend time with the seniors. And even being in a memory care, I think that was my first time in a real memory care situation. And it was so interesting to watch, and just to see who these people and imagine who they were. Because just because they're aging and just because they may not have their memories and they may not look like they used to, they still were those people, and we have to treat them with respect and dignity. And for me, I mean, and I've told this story to many people, and one of the reasons I got in this business is because my grandmother, she suffered 10 years with Alzheimer's, and we put her in a nursing home. And I see places like a memory care, and I see the home care that we can give to dementia and Alzheimer's clients, even at late stages. It's amazing. It's amazing. And like to see the horses. Yes, Silverado has little horses.
Yeah, the stable with mini horses, and it was fun seeing that horse chase Dustin around.
Yeah. All right. Well, it wasn't a wine tasting, it was a tea tasting, but it was really good. It was really good. All right. So since it is International Women's Day this week, let's start there. Let's look at how women have played a role in shaping the home care industry. So we know that they've been caregivers. They're caregivers at home to their aging parents. That is still happening. That is still a taxing thing that many people have to do because they can't afford other services. And it's just, or something happens and they're forced to do it. Now, in the past, this is just something that happened. It was something we accepted. It was part of who we were as women. And when it came to roles in home care space, in healthcare, women took roles as nurses. They were nurses. They were caregivers. And now it's like a complete shift. And I look at our industry, I look at our organization of all these amazing women running businesses to new levels, to leadership, to making impact in healthcare, for, doctors becoming, nurses becoming nurse practitioners, physicians. It really is amazing, but here's the other thing. And people in home care always say this: women taxing themselves with high-level positions, running families, looking after aging parents can lead to burnout. So we have to be careful to take time for ourselves. And in the past, women put themselves last. And I am going to say it, don't do that. It's not worth it. Because now I'll go into one other thing, and then I'm going to ask your perspective on this. I was, speaking of women impact on health and longevity. I love podcasts. I'll say that to everybody who talks to me. One of my favorite podcasts is the Mel Robbins Show. She had somebody today that I listened to, Dr. Vonda Wright. And Dr. Vonda Wright was a 20-year-old nurse who worked in cancer hospitals, really just delivering treatment at night and being with these fragile women that they're going through the hardest times in their life. And what she said is they administered chemo at night, and she would just see how strong they were and how wonderful they were. And then she turned and said, I'm going to be an orthopedic surgeon. And so now she's dealing with bones. So why do I bring this up? Because as women age, we really have to protect our bones. We have to protect our longevity. And, it's interesting because we know this, and these are the women that in the nursing homes. 1 in 3 American women over 65 will fall. That is a scary statistic, but it is a statistic. And it could change their entire future. And either it's going to leave them fragile, or they're going to end up in a nursing home. And that's huge. So, when it comes to lifespan and health span, these are 2 new topics that people are talking about. So you have your lifespan. The average woman will live to about 82, and the average man is 76.4 or something like that. So how does that play into what we're doing? Well, as much as we're caring for the aging population that is becoming, less mobile, needing our support, we can also be the generation that changes, looks after ourselves, looks after our health, our bones, our sleep, all that wonderful stuff that we do have control over, and have a health span of 90, 100 or more, because it is possible. So anyways, in home care, we play a key role in helping seniors maintain quality of life at home rather than a facility. So here's a question to you. How have you seen this impact firsthand in the work you've done so far?
Yeah, that's a big question. um,
Give one
but
example.
I have seen it. Just there's some stats out there that are interesting, right, for healthcare and women in healthcare. It's something like 70 or 80% are frontline workers. Women are frontline workers, and then something like 25% are healthcare executives. So that's a pretty big gap in terms of women who are frontline workers versus executives. So the immediate question is why, right? And during my experience going to hospitals, going to skilled nursing facilities, speaking to social workers, discharge planners, it's almost all women, right?
Mm.
So these are really important jobs and positions,
Oh
uh,
yeah.
and their work really affects the livelihood of anybody that's coming through the doors. Um, I mean, there's a lot to be said on this topic. I
Yeah.
think it starts. My personal perspective is it starts with education, getting more young women involved in STEM studies, and being empowered to continue that sort of education, where they can feel confident to grow and take on these leadership roles, because they absolutely have the power to do that.
Absolutely. Okay, so one of the key things we do when we highlight a franchisee, tell us how you got into this. What is your story? Why a place at home? So take us through your entire journey on how you got here, and then we'll talk a little bit more about all that.
Yeah. So my wife Jocelyn, I wish she could be here. This is this is ultimately her big project, and she said, "Sam, I'm going to hire you, and you're going to get $0 an hour." And I said, "Okay, deal." More seriously though, besides my wife's excellent negotiation skills, um, we were looking into various businesses to buy. We both have an entrepreneurial spirit, and we wanted to find something that is just something we could feel proud of in the work we're
Meaningful.
doing. Meaningful work. Yeah. So where we are building something and consistently changing the lives of, or impacting the lives of the folks we're in. So we looked around at different things and found the home care business. Um, and it was perfect timing because a few events had occurred that's led us down this path. One was my dad passed away um, early, right? And I would argue if I had a better understanding of the way the healthcare system works, I believe he would still be here today, and that's a chip on my shoulder that I carry. Um,
Mm.
but I from that experience, I'm just constantly learning more about home care, and my wife as well. We're going through a similar arena with her uh, abuela she is progressing through different things. I won't give out the details because I don't know if she
Right.
I don't know if she'd want me to, but knowing how to navigate these things
Yeah.
efficiently is a big deal to the families we help, because
Mhm.
if you don't understand the process and the way things work with various things, it can be very costly. It can be very time consuming.
Yeah.
So working with, and home care is home care, but a lot of us are able to help families navigate other things, not just home care. So
Right.
we can take consultations to help with really a broad spectrum of things.
Absolutely. And one of them is placement. We
Placement,
kind of talked about that
yeah,
and how
care
that could be an
management.
yeah, care management, all of that kind of stuff. All right. Why a place at home?
Yeah, so when we were looking, a place at home really stuck out, and we had a lot of good conversations with Mitch. And then once we met everyone, we felt really good about the group. They really felt like the goal is to consistently and effectively build this brand, and that's what we were looking for, right? Just a solid
Mhm.
executive team that cares, right?
Mhm.
And we specifically wanted something a bit smaller. We didn't want to go with any sort of very
Yeah.
large
Right.
franchise group. So they were the perfect fit for us at the
Great.
time, and everyone that we met, we got they all passed the elevator test. So
All right.
or the
Well, there you
airport
go.
test, I should say.
And the rest is history.
Yeah.
All right. So you've been in for a little bit, roughly like really in since the beginning of the year. So you're
Yeah.
still very new.
Mhm.
But how is it compared to your expectations?
So I'm learning a lot very fast. Um, I would say I would say my expectations um, went out the window quickly.
It's
um,
okay.
no, yeah, that's how it is, and that's
Yeah.
perfect. That's perfect. That's growth, right? You
Hmm.
have the courage to fail over and over and keep at it, right? Um, as as Dustin would say, keep hitting the play button, and he's totally right. He's spot on.
Yeah.
Um, but building relationships in the community, I just never expected it to be so fulfilling. It's really great to see how these people, how different groups network to all help a single family, right? So the way home care fits in with, say, hospice, for example, and how they can work side by side in certain situations, or home health and home care, right? Uh,
Definitely.
how we connect with the discharge process when it's done
Hmm.
correctly, right? So it's very interesting to see these sort of synergistic um, uh,
Right.
networking arenas, right? So um, I learned that really fast, and then was able to network, be out in the community, really chat with a lot of people, learn uh, how the community all works together to help families.
Yeah. That's beautiful. So, what does it mean for you to be building a business with your wife? Like, how do you see her role evolving once she does come on board full time?
It means the world to me. We're very excited to be on this journey. It's certainly difficult. It's not the easiest thing, but we feel very strongly, and we're very passionate about our goals and building our family uh, to the best of our ability. And this is something that we both want to achieve, is building a successful business, and potentially more over
Yeah.
time, as we learn about uh, the entrepreneurial mindset and the sort of work it takes to grow a business.
Yeah, for sure. So let's go into some of those challenges and lessons learned. Like you're in the first year, and the first
Hmm.
year is the hardest. You
Hmm.
are literally going up and down and up and down and
Yeah.
all these ebbs and flows, and now you're in it. So let's talk about let's kind of separate it. So building the operational foundation. Can you talk a little bit about how you guys started to do that and where you kind of where you had to pivot, where you had to rethink it?
Yeah, so the San Diego market's extremely competitive. There are a lot of home care groups out there, but we look at that as a exciting challenge because it tells us that there's a lot of people that need help out here. That's why there's a lot of
Hmm.
businesses out here, right?
Hmm.
Um, so the question is, how can you differentiate yourself?
Yep.
How can you provide more value? Um, and there's a number of things that we felt we would do to be that business that people would rather work with. So we look at ourselves as a boutique home care agency. We prioritize quality over scale, and we do that from from every aspect of the
Yep.
business. So starting
Touch
with the
point.
caregivers, yeah, starting with the caregivers we hire. Jocelyn has been focusing on that, and we really take our time to find people who are a really strong fit, and then they're being paid more than average for
Mhm.
this area, and that's helped because we have less call outs.
Right.
Um, so a lot of caregivers out here, because there are so many home care agencies, they can go almost wherever they want, right? They're going to prioritize the group that is helping them the most, and
Sure.
paying them well. And then we built out models for our team to progress, right? So they can progress through through a career if they want to take more time and really build a career here at a
Love
place
that.
that,
Yeah.
yeah.
So grow with you as you
Yep.
guys grow.
Yep. And
Love
then
that.
we build we I wanted to make sure our team doesn't miss a shift, and so far we've been successful in never missing a shift. Is it going to happen? Probably, but there's things we can do to prepare in the event that there's an issue. So the model we have been using is primary caregiver is main point of contact. That's the consistent caregiver that's assigned to whatever family, right? And then from there, the care manager, they're sort of the guy in the seat, right? Or the
Hmm.
lady in the seat that can help out at any given time, call from the primary, call from the family uh, to help with whatever they need. And then 3 backups. So that's worked really well for us. And
Okay.
right,
Great.
currently we've never missed a shift.
I know. Congratulations. That is something that
Yeah.
doesn't always happen. But Sam, you do take some shifts. Now remember that.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do,
Yes,
because
you
we're not going to
do.
miss one. Yeah,
That's
with
right.
scale, it's more likely that we
Yeah.
will, but we'll
Yeah.
look into that and figure it out.
All right. So now the first orientation, were you involved in that or was that all Jocelyn?
I was at the orientation in Omaha.
Yeah. No,
I was there.
orientation with your caregivers.
Oh no,
No,
that's all
your
Jocelyn.
orientation, all
Yeah.
Jocelyn. Okay. All right. How was it getting versed in all our systems and platforms? How did you find that experience? You can be honest.
Yeah, I thought it was fine. I think everything we have is pretty straightforward. Um, and then I sort of see, just from my own personal thoughts, I think there's some other things we could do better with the systems, but they've all been pretty easy and straightforward to navigate.
Okay. So let's touch on sales and marketing.
Sure.
So tell us about your experience, where you're spending your time, what surprised you, and maybe some lessons learned going forward.
Yeah, I probably could do. I could speak on this for a while, I think.
I know
um,
too.
yeah, yeah. So I would say the marketing piece, although I really enjoy doing it, it's certainly been difficult. So just trying to understand where my time is most valuable, um, and figuring out the locations of things so I can hit multiple areas quickly. Um, and just the time it takes, right? We're 3 months in. I'm still consistently going to these various skilled nursing facilities. I know everyone by name and nickname, things they like, but we still haven't received any sort of referral directly from them. Most of our patients we work with have come from uh, lead flow from a place for mom. Um, but again, I'm confident that consistency will work. And then networking, right? So we've been working with placement, uh, GCMs, geriatric care managers.
Hmm.
So new relationships there. I just established over the course of the last couple of days.
Oh,
Um,
good.
yeah, uh,
Okay. Love
multiple
that.
memory care teams.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, so certainly know a lot of people in our area.
That's great. That's great. And then we go into goal setting. We actually, as a company, do follow EOS, Entrepreneurial Operating Systems, if you're not familiar with that. And that really keeps our owners accountable to their KPIs, their key performance indicators, and the important ones. And I know we talked about, the scorecard and how important it is to look at your numbers and just to kind of get into those good habits. Funny I say that because I just started Atomic Habits, and the book is
Good one.
really eye-opening, even though I probably read it a long time ago. It's really helpful. Like these small little
Start
things, if you
small. Yeah.
keep doing them and you keep being better every day, just a smidge, by the end of the year, you're going to grow this much.
Yeah.
So, staying on top of these things are really important so that you know where the plane is going, right? So we're at the place where the plane's ready to take off. I really feel it is. And we just want to soar. So staying on top of those numbers is really important. So we talked about, starting a business is always hard and has its challenges. What is something that you know now that you wish you would have known when you started?
Ooh, I like that question. Um, Organization of your day. I think mapping the day out and sticking to it.
Mm-hmm.
Something I've been doing recently that's been really helpful actually is just a daily log of my everything
Yeah,
I'm doing for the day. Then
that's
I can
great.
go back and just see where I can improve things. That's been really valuable. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and then tracking all the touch points with
Yeah,
everyone I meet, so I
yeah,
have a complete picture of what I've done over time, because you're gonna forget, like, you
absolutely. Yeah.
there's so much stuff, and your attention is being pulled in so many areas that you have to focus on what is most important, rather than all these sort of little fluff things that aren't gonna
Yes.
aren't probably will not drive business.
Yeah. And that goes into like networking and building community relationships. You have to be really strategic when you're going into those because you got to know what is fun and good food and drinks versus gonna actually mean something to my business. And if it's not, then you got to walk out. Like you got to stay 5 minutes and then leave. And you got to, you want to kind of evaluate the costs. Most of them are free, but some of them do have costs, sponsorships, all that kind of stuff. So of course, we'll talk through that as you get bigger. Um, But is there any specific networking opportunities, community events that you have already made meaningful connections? I mean, I would think the one we just did last week, I think there's a lot there that's potential.
Yeah, the one we did. So I've already met with someone from the networking group last week, and she sent me a ton of contacts. So
Oh,
I'm working through that. Yeah, I'm working through that list, which is great because this is how this works, right?
yeah. And it's really about making those meaningful relationships. That's how you get referrals. So just so everybody knows, I mean, you don't actually have to attend a networking event. You can create one. And we did that. So prior to this visit, we got together thinking what would be the best way to get Sam and Jocelyn connected into the community. And we thought, well, why don't we just make an event? And through connections on LinkedIn and through my time in this industry, we kind of put together a really good event. It didn't cost much, and we got a great turnout. I think we were 20 people
Yeah.
that stayed like right to the end. I mean, that was
Yeah.
so cool. And I mean, the venue was amazing. You can't beat that. So yeah, it's just, it's always things you just have to think outside the box. And sometimes when we think outside the box, we land a gem. And I think there's a lot there with proper follow-up that you're going to find lots of opportunity. Let's go to the caregiving and team building part. So recruiting and retaining caregivers is a major focus in home care. And I know Jocelyn kind of leads that. And you kind of touched on your approach. So, I mean, how do you see that working to build your culture? Are you finding you're building a
Yeah.
team culture?
Yeah, we are. That's really important to us, is to people who are um, trusting us to, it's their livelihood, right? It's a big deal. It's a big responsibility.
Yeah, sure.
So we want to be that team that can help in multiple ways, not just the paycheck, and that's what the company culture is, right? So
Yeah, no, that's really good. Okay, I got a couple more questions. Then we're going to switch to the site visit because I want to go deeper into that and then some of your goals for the future. Okay, this is a good one. What's the one unexpected lesson you've learned about yourself since you started this business?
mm, so I have a lot of stuff I can work on. So um, there's a lot of things I'd like to improve. I think number one is focus. Focus, because I kind of see myself. I'm kind of a creative, and I will try and do multiple things at once, and that never works.
Yeah,
So yeah, so my attention gets pulled into different areas. So really learning to focus on what matters the most, and just really solving one problem at a time rather than
right.
10
Yeah,
problems at once.
for sure.
That's
For sure.
that's that's a big deal.
Yeah, and it's really important because right now you're in the business, you're working in the business, but when you guys build a team, then you're the visionary and you get to focus on all this stuff and you'll have the time for it then. But
Yeah.
right now you still have to build the foundation, put the team together before you can lead a team so that you can focus on that creative stuff that makes your juices flow. Because I have the same thing. I love being creative, but you can come up with 100 different ideas, but then you're not going to move on 100. You have to be really specific on the important ones that are going to drive your business forward. And if it's not, then you don't move on it right away. It's back there. A maybe one day wish list. Okay, so what is your philosophy on leadership and how do you apply it to your business? And maybe not now, but how you see yourself doing it in the future?
My philosophy is lead by example. So I if I'm asking someone to do something, there should be a level of expectation that I would do it as well, right? So that's my philosophy. Really, it's show not tell.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
there's a
definitely.
difference between a manager and a leader, right?
Yes.
So a manager is more or less telling people what to do, but a leader is empowering
Love
and
that.
showing.
Empowering. Yes.
Yeah. So that's my
Yes.
philosophy.
Okay. That's great. All right. So let's switch to the site visit for a little bit. So, we had a chance to get out there. We did a little bit of community events. We did our networking events. We got to spend lots of time with you guys. And I say we, me and Dustin. And you got some review of your operations, your sales, your marketing, lots of great feedback from Dustin and myself. So what would you say your biggest takeaways from that site visit? Did it meet your expectations? And like, were any aha moments that said, oh my God, that's it?
Yeah, it met my expectations. It was great having you guys out. You should come again.
We will.
Um, yeah, you're welcome to. I think the thing that's really resonated with me the most is Dustin just like keep hitting play, keep hitting play, keep hitting play. I like that a lot. Um, and it's just that consistency, right? Like
Hmm.
it's easy to get down on yourself when you visited someone so many times and they're not doing it, right? There's no reciprocity,
Hmm.
you're bringing in all
Hmm.
this stuff for them and they're just like, all right, bye, but I'm very stubborn, so I keep going in.
You got to. You got
um,
to. Yeah.
yeah, and just really showing the value creation and, keep hitting play, just keep at it because it's, no's are great. No's are feedback, they're learning opportunities, right?
Yeah.
No, well, okay, that's no problem. Why is that? You know? So embrace the no's until you
Yeah.
get the yes.
Yeah. All right. So since the visit, I've given you now your kind of site report with an action plan. I don't know if you've checked it out yet, but have you put anything into practice yet?
Yeah, it's for me, it's been focusing or streamlining the holistic marketing strategy.
Okay.
So I'm working on that now where I want to do it'll be a mixture of like one day is just follow up outbounds, email, call, text, and then the next day will be visiting, the rest of the week will be in person visiting, and then starting that all over again. So just really organizing and mapping out the weekly plan and sticking to that consistently.
Okay.
Um, I'm confident that'll yield results.
Absolutely. Okay. Let's talk about future. Where do you see this business? Now we go with EOS, but this is your first year. So what do you think your second year kind of looks like if you were to envision it? Who is part of your team? How does it look?
Yeah, I envision a larger team, so more volume, um, moving into a larger office potentially. We'll see,
Okay.
and sort of getting to that next step or that next phase of business design where, as you mentioned previously, you're working on the business, in the business, and you're mapping out all these organizational
Right.
flows. Yeah.
Right, right. And exciting stuff, you're going to be able to serve vets very soon. So you'll be
Yes.
VA credentialed, and go out there and do even more marketing around veterans so that you'll have
Yeah.
some just diversification with payer sources. So I think that's a really good thing. I think from the site visit, adding in placement to build relationships, even going a little either free or a lower scale to compete. I think
Yeah.
that's a really good thing to put into practice. And I'm excited to see that bring more revenue, but also build those referral relationships so that they become referral partners.
Yeah.
And create more opportunities for you guys.
Just being a problem solver, like how can you go into anywhere and immediately add value consistently to people you work with, and then that, the reciprocity will come over time.
Right. So just to capture, site visits with franchising, it's different in every franchise. But with A Place at Home, we really, really want to support our owners. And so although we do also obviously virtual meetings and with Sam and Jocelyn, I mean, it's weekly, the site visits are really, really important. And I think it's a disfavor of a company that doesn't do them, because you don't get the same feel in a virtual meeting that you do when you go out there. You take your time, you fly out to some other state, and you spend time with the owner, and you get to know them and their family and what they like, and you see them in a different light. And it's just so important, because our relationship building is really important for your success as well. So everything about the decision you guys made to buy into this franchise, to join A Place at Home, to work with coaches, it really is about relationship building. And as far as, from a coach perspective, I just want to see you successful. I want to be in that journey, celebrate you guys when you have your wins, be there when you have your falls, and just keep you, like you said, keep pounding the pavement, keep going, because you will have situations that will come up, and as you get busier, there may be some tears, who knows. But at the same time, I don't want to see any owner get burnt out. I mean, that just breaks my heart when I see that too. And so that's why we talk so much about team managed businesses, because this business is too hard to do it on your own. 24/7 is home care, no matter how you see it. And it's so emotionally draining and stressful at times that it has to be a team that runs it, or you run yourself into the ground. So it's a good plan to scale and to grow your team, and we'll be here, cheering you guys, helping you any way we can to make sure that those decisions are made at the right time, and that you're successful with them. Now, think back when we did our EOS and we did our level 10 goals. Do you remember what you put for the year? There was one thing that I'm thinking of.
You mean in revenue?
No, not so much revenue. Think a bigger, like a bigger goal.
I'm not sure.
You don't remember.
No.
You guys want to earn a conference award.
So sure. Yeah.
Get in the running, right? This year is out, but now we're looking towards 26, where we would reward 25. So, it's definitely in there. There's lots of good owners right now, just growing like fire, and you guys could be definitely in there too. So, keep that up. I just wanted to see if there was anything else. Talked about that. Okay, so what's one thing what's one thing you wish more new franchise owners knew before they got started? So now you're talking to someone who's looking into this franchise. I want you to give advice, what you wish you should have known, and I want you to also talk about, if you could go back and make this decision again, would you go with a franchise or would you go on your own?
I would go with a franchise for sure, and make sure the franchise has the capacity to genuinely help, because it is a unique business, and it can be unique from each territory with how tight knit the network is. I would say early on is just, get organized like day one, and listen to the people who have done it before. They have results. They know what they're doing. But also be cognizant of the unique aspects of your area too, because
Right.
yes, it works, but it may not work the same way, depending on how your state does or area does business.
That's good. Okay, I like that. What is one milestone that you're really excited that you've already reached? Try and think.
One milestone that we've already reached.
I know one,
There,
so in my brain, but you say what you think.
there's a few. We're starting to pick up um, on our getting service agreements out there. So that's exciting, as well as scheduling in-home consultations. That started happening this week, so we're very excited about that.
Okay.
Uh,
So
yeah, I
you know
mean,
what you know what I
I
was
would,
thinking?
yeah,
Your lead caregiver. Do you know how early that is to find someone that you can really trust that you've already brought into the office that's doing a
yeah,
dual role? That's
that's even
amazing.
better. Yeah,
That's an
that's
amazing thing that you guys reached. So
that's even better. Everyone with us right now, they're awesome, excellent team so far.
yeah, that's great. That's great. Um, okay, so I mean, we're a little bit more time. Is there anything that you wanted to ask me, that you wanted to comment about?
Yeah, how have you been enjoying your business coach role? Is it
I love
exciting?
it.
Yeah.
You can't see that I don't love it. No, you know what? I love this industry so much, and
Yeah.
I fell in love with it, and I
Yeah, you
didn't
bring a
know
lot of
that was going
passion.
to happen. And I love coaching owners. It is a true passion within me, and I just want to keep getting better and better. That's my goal, to help you guys reach new levels and new ideas and technology really excites me, and what we can do to automate some of the stuff that you guys don't need to be doing, and that something else could be doing it for you, so you could be out there really building those relationships and just keeping making such an impact in the senior community, because it's a big industry and there's a lot of need, and there's a lot of need that has to change. It shouldn't be because you can afford it. It should be something that we allow everybody have access to. And being at home is so important to these seniors. And maybe it won't be 20 years from now. Maybe they would want a senior living community. But for right now, the ones that we do serve, that choice is to stay at home, and we can do that if we have the right solutions in place. And that's what I like to see, is that we provide a professional solution for these families so that they can live, with peace of mind for their senior, and help in any way we can. And one thing, when we look at home care and we look at in-home support services, we kind of say non-medical, non-skilled, but that's not the point. The point is that in this day and age, home care can be managing difficult conditions, keeping people safe at home where they want to be, even when they have terminal illness, when they're in a wheelchair. Like, these are things that people don't know that home care can help. We can do it. We can work with hospice.
We've already solved a lot of problems for people, with the changing condition protocols. I mean,
Love it. Yeah,
just
that's
getting on
yeah,
top of a UTI before it
yeah,
becomes serious. You're avoiding an
right.
emergency
Okay,
room
so
visit.
before we go, do you have a story that you can tell our audience, just with a client or a caregiver, that stands out? Because everything about our business is stories. People want to hear the stories of impact.
Yeah, so we have a superstar caregiver, April. You met her, right?
Hmm.
She was with us during the tea event. Um,
Yeah.
she she has created such an impact for the folks she works with. So there's been a number of just awesome things that we've discovered through her help. So one was we had one of our patients took some time to open up, but once he did open up, he was like, "Oh, will you please cook me some Filipino food?" Right? So
Hmm.
he's asking about her and her culture, and they were able to share a dish that's special to her culture, which was awesome. And then we have another uh, we have another patient. It's a husband and wife, and the um, the husband would start getting sort of like tingly or start feeling things within his arms or hands. So she
Yeah.
just did basic like massaging to which can help to increase blood flow, and
Right.
he looks forward to that every week now. You know,
Oh,
and
that's
she
so
also
nice.
so one of our patients are going through a cancer diagnosis, and that just gets really difficult,
Mm.
obviously physically but mentally as well, right? So there was an interaction where she was consoling her and just telling her, "You're a strong woman. Um, you can handle this. You get through it." And it's just beautiful to see. It's incredible. So we want more caregivers like that, and continue to
Mhm.
have people like that because it's special.
That's wonderful. All right, well, I'm going to wrap up. I wanted to just say thank you so much, Sam, for your insights, your honesty, your comments, your yeah, just everything. I think we had a really great conversation, and I hope our audience got some learnings from it and learned a little bit about our culture at a place at home and how we really do care. Like we are care,
Yeah.
and we have amazing women. So again, happy International Women's Day. And we'll see you next week.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Take care.
Okay. Bye bye.